All right, Triple H is at it again as he has dropped another subtle hint as to what his plans are for WrestleMania 40 and specifically what his plans may be for the Night 2 main event at WrestleMania 40. Cody Rhodes challenges The Rock for the Undisputed Universal Championship, and you saw it on Raw. We talked about the Rock laying the smack it down on Cody in the parking lot, the beat down, there's blood everywhere. Mama Rhodes brought up yet again. And The Rock in the rain just completely trying to destroy Cody Rhodes. We talked about what that meant in a previous video. That is obviously leading us towards that singles match between Cody Rhodes and The Rock. We're going to get that at some point. Maybe it's at SummerSlam. Maybe it's next year's WrestleMania. They have options. But to add another layer to this story, you guys know I like to touch on every single detail that I can. And boy, did this one gain some momentum coming out of Raw on Monday. And I really wanted to kind of dive into it myself and share some thoughts on what potentially this could mean. I teased, I think I may know how they're going to sort of finish this thing on night 2, but this is just one detail of that. We're going to do another follow-up video looking at specifically what I think is going to happen. But this is something that's very important because what they did on Raw is kind of something they've done in the Triple H era a lot now, and that is give you the things in the background are just as important as the things that you're seeing right in front of you. And I think it was another example. And again, I know a lot of you guys, as someone mentioned in the comments on the previous video, it's a lot everywhere online. Everyone's kind of coming up with their own theories here as to what it could mean. I don't think there are any, it's not even necessary to have a theory at this point. I think it's very clear that it means something, and I think it means something significant. So we're going to start here. This Twitter thing from WrestleVotes came out, and WrestleVotes, if you're on X/Twitter, a lot of interesting details, a lot of interesting reports that have come out from that account. Usually has a pretty good insight as to what's going on or what is going to happen next. And so this one from WrestleVotes, everything is done on purpose. 2 weeks out from WrestleMania, the backdrop of these WrestleMania-specific trucks last night would have sufficed. I'll leave it at that. So you see the visuals here. You got Drew McIntyre, Charlotte Flair on the left on this truck. On the right, you've got Logan Paul, you've got Seth Rollins, there's Jey Uso in there. And again, the point is that, hey, they could have just used these trucks, right? Well, they didn't use these trucks because they decided to go with another truck that was very interesting, to say the least. And the chosen, not just the fact of which trucks were chosen, it was also a matter of who was on the trucks. And you know who it is by now as we pull this up. You see, with the beatdown going on in the rain, The Rock trash-talking Cody Rhodes, all this other stuff, what is right there in the background? Now, we didn't mention this on the previous video because I thought this really deserved a deeper discussion that probably would have taken that video to about 30 minutes, and you guys probably weren't going to sit around and watch me for 30 minutes talk about that one specific segment. But if you look at this here, you see what we're seeing in the background, and it's kind of funny to sort of look at this now and to really go into it, knowing the details of the story that we're talking about here. It is The Rock coming back. He's gone full heel, Hollywood Rock, final boss, everything. Like, The Rock's ego has never been bigger than it is right now. But who do we see right behind The Rock and Cody Rhodes? We see two of The Rock's biggest rivals in WWE history. We've got John Cena. We've got Steve Austin. They're both staring right at this man as he is beating down Cody Rhodes in the parking lot. Remember what I always say. WWE, some of the best presentation you'll ever see in sports and entertainment, whatever. They know exactly what they're doing on every single shot. Every single camera shot, there is a purpose to it. There is a reason that it is there. Nothing is done by accident, especially in the Triple H era. We've seen that so many times. Think about all the interviews they've done in the back where there's something else going on in the background that we have to sort of pay attention to, right? There's something there, and it's trying to tell us something, even if we don't always know what it is. We know it's right there looking us in the face. This is looking not only us in the face, it's looking The Rock in the face. As we just talked about with that, tweet from WrestleVotes. There could have been anyone on this truck. WWE could have went with the obvious choices. You could have had McIntyre and Rollins. You could have had anybody, right? You could put something back there with CM Punk. But instead, it's John Cena and Steve Austin, as The Rock is going at Cody Rhodes. That's not a mistake. That's clearly there for a reason. And I think, again, you think about, if you go back and watch this segment, if you watch it in real time and you see how the camera's moving, I think this is a very important part of this. It's not as though, there's like one point where The Rock's like pulling Cody Rhodes a little bit here. You can't see it, obviously. This is a still shot. And you see the camera kind of go a little bit too far in a little bit. All right, so it goes a little bit too far in. You can't fully capture Austin and Cena on this truck. But then you see the camera pull back a little bit. And so, all right, camera pulls back. Now we're seeing the full Austin and Cena shot here, right? And then it's like you go to even this next one where you've got The Rock holding Cody Rhodes, about to throw him over here. And who is right there? I mean, we can't see him, but he's right there, right? We know who it is. If you can see him, let me know in the comments, because I can't really see this guy. But we know there's someone there. And think about this shot right here, just this visual right here. Think about the way they could have done this from a camera standpoint, right? Like, I'm not a filmmaker. I just make videos on YouTube. But they could have turned this camera any way they wanted to turn it. They could have shot it from a different angle to where you get nothing in the background except the focus is all on The Rock and Cody, right? Where they zoom the camera in so much that you don't have to worry about anything that's going on beyond those two guys. But why this shot, right? I mean, that's what we have to ask ourselves. Why would they do this particular shot? And I think it's very obvious now why they would do these kind of things. Why they would have the Steve Austin and John Cena truck in the background. And not only do they have it in the background, right? The lights. The lights are perfectly set on this truck in the background. It's not as though it's like dim, right? The lights are perfectly glaring off of the side of this truck, which is white, which is smart, because why? It stands out. When you have this kind of dark visual, you have a contrasting thing, right? Where you've got now the full white, clear type color. Great. Like that's what you want, because it's going to look better and it's going to stand out more. So that, again, not a filmmaker, but I think that's kind of like presentation 101, where you have kind of the offsetting colors here. The darkness, then you've got the bright light over here where it is clear as day why it's there. So all those things, right? You think about all the stuff that's lining up here just in this one little camera shot, this one sequence that WWE has just put together outside. And so it is amazing, and I think it is brilliant at the same time that they are going to this level, because they know we're all in on this, right? Like, how many videos have myself and many others done? How many tweets have been sent out? How many podcasts? Like, everybody's talking about all the little things that this could mean this could mean that on the road to WrestleMania 40. And now, what do you have? You've got The Rock taking it to the ultimate hero, the babyface of the world, everybody's favorite, chosen son here, Cody Rhodes, right? Like, he is the guy. And meanwhile, you've got the two guys that have kind of been in The Rock's path throughout his history right there looking at him. They are glaring right at him as he is doing this. They're not there, especially John Cena, because we can't see the guy. But Steve Austin is glaring right at The Rock. John Cena is glaring right at The Rock. And it's that kind of stuff that I absolutely love. And I think, remember too, if you follow the channel, there have been two very interesting videos we've done on the channel that have not related to this entire saga with the Bloodline, The Rock, Cody Rhodes, all that. One, John Cena has done multiple interview appearances over the past little while here leading up to WrestleMania 40. We brought up the one, I think it was the interview with Jimmy Fallon, where John Cena is basically just saying, hey, I'm available for WrestleMania 40. The Rock's name was mentioned in that particular segment. You can go back, search for it on the channel, just search for John Cena, you'll find it. John Cena WrestleMania 40, it's there. And all the different things that Cena had to say about the possibility of him showing up at WrestleMania 40. And now, just as recently as the past couple days, there is the report out there, and remember, this comes off the heels of Austin doing an interview with ESPN not long ago and mentioning, could he be ready for another match? Could he get one more go-around, right? After the Kevin Owens match, which I thought was an absolute success, could Austin do it one more time? He didn't shut it down. No wrestler's going to shut this down these days. We talk about the retirement joke with wrestlers and all that. But he didn't shut it down completely. And then there's a report that comes out the past 2 days that says WWE has made overtures. I think this report from PW Insider made overtures towards bringing in Steve Austin for WrestleMania 40 weekend. Now, if they're going to do that, I think it's very clear that John Cena and Steve Austin will have a role on WrestleMania 40. And I think if that was to tell us something right there, if we're to read into that truck that was not a mistake, it was there for a reason, I think you've got to believe there is now a scenario in play where, let's call it what it is, the WrestleMania 40 Night 2 main event between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns is going to be Bloodline rules. There's no other choice now. It has to be Bloodline rules, which means The Rock and Roman Reigns have to win on night 1. How they get there, we'll talk about it in other videos leading up to the show next week. But the thing is, it may be the most overbooked spectacle you've ever seen for night 2. You may see multiple people get involved in this main event because this is kind of the culmination of the biggest story they've had in a long time. And I think what WWE likes to do, what Triple H likes to do, as we said, it's the details. You want to tie everybody, everything you can that has had a fingerprint on this particular story, that has had any sort of role whatsoever. Now, I'm not going to be able to bring out like 100 people, but if you think about the biggest people that are out there, obviously the entire bloodline as it stands now, there's Jey Uso, there's Sami Zayn, which that's another interesting theory I've seen out there. We may talk about that one before we get to WrestleMania 40. You know, obviously Cody has played a role in that. But when you think about John Cena, right? He's had his own stuff with the bloodline. And you think about the matches he's had with Roman Reigns, the stuff with Solo. I mean, remember, think about kind of the last time, what was happening there that we saw with Cena and Solo and all that. And so you could have John Cena go after Solo. You could have, all of a sudden, The Rock is I mean, you could have Jay come after Jimmy, right? They're going to have a match at WrestleMania. That could somehow play into night 2, and they, all of a sudden they're fighting off with each other. Cena's being the one to stop Solo. And then maybe the final boss. The Rock is the one saying, all right, I'm going to finish this myself. I'm going to be done with Cody here. It's all over, right? Maybe again, we're making too much of The Rock and Roman Reigns. Maybe this is ultimately what it's going to be, where all of a sudden Reigns is down, The Rock's going to finish Cody once and for all, and that glass shatters. I mean, you want to talk about a pop, it may be one of the loudest pops we've ever heard. I mean, think about WrestleMania. Like, if we go back, Steve Austin and The Rock, where was a very important WrestleMania match between Steve Austin and The Rock? It took place in Philadelphia. Because you think about the way this can all tie in, right? Go back all the way, WrestleMania 15. It all ties in where you have a situation where this all comes back to Philadelphia. And remember, too, I was trying to pull this up, but I thought this was right. So remember, that's in 1999, okay, 25 years ago, okay? There is, Triple H likes the, different kind of milestones, right? Where you think back, like, all right, this is the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania. You've got a 25-year sort of mark here from that WrestleMania. What was the tagline for that WrestleMania? For WrestleMania 15? The Ragin' Climax. So everything to that point got to the ultimate blow-off here, right? That was the whole point. And so this feels very similar. When you tie everything together, Cena said he can be there. Steve Austin reportedly now could be in the mix. You see both of them on a truck. The history between Austin and The Rock, all the way back 25 years ago in Philadelphia, the Ragin' Climax. Everything ties in to something happening with these two at WrestleMania 40. John Cena is going to be there. Steve Austin is going to be there. If they're not, I would be shocked at this point based on everything that they've given us, especially in that particular segment with The Rock taking it to Cody Rhodes, and you've got Cena and Austin staring at him as though you're about to get what you have coming to you. Will they get involved? I think so. And I think it was no mistake by Triple H to make sure we all know that as we're now getting closer and closer to perhaps the Ragin' Climax Part 2 at WrestleMania 40. So, appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you think in the comments about this. Again, already had some great discussion on it. Would love to kind of hear everyone else's thoughts now as we move forward into this. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. New channel. Just enjoy talking wrestling here. Had a lot of great feedback on all these videos we've done. We've really just loved it. I mean, this is why I appreciate Triple H, is because we love the tiny details. I love these kind of things, and this to me is just like, it's next level type stuff that gets you more and more invested and everything that's going on. So, again, appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you think about the mysterious truck in the background, which featured Steve Austin and someone else.